Alright guys, today is going to be a really fun little challenge. I've got here 24 different massing shapes that I'd love you to try out with me. If this has really been easy for you, then I wanted to use it almost as a speed challenge and just start problem solving the wisest way to build, whether it's from the ground up or from the side or the top down. And if it's been a struggle for you in isometric grid, then hopefully this extra exercise will help you just get more comfortable and confident before we move on to the whole big picture of designing our landscape. So first thing, let me just point out to you that I've done the same thing with color coordinating, so you can kind of see where the top surface is, the yellow where the bird's eye view would be seen, and then the left side being the red and the right side being the blue. Let me try to zoom in a little bit closer for each one so you're able to see a little bit faster. So for this first shape, I like to look at the main connected point, and that to me looks like an L. So let's go ahead and do a simple 1, 2, 3 by 3. And again, I hope your eyes are getting accustomed to checking out these blocks and being able to count. I'm sorry, I did 4 by 3, did I not? Same thing. And then we're going to take this red shape and go back as thick as we want it to be. This one looks like it's 3 blocks. I'm going to do 2 for mine. And each line I'm going black 2 blocks thick. Now, if you remember from the very beginning, whatever's happening in the front surface, it's going to happen in the back. So if this is vertical here in the front, this same surface plane is going to remain vertical all the way back here. Okay. So if it's hard for you and you can't remember how to build it, I'd recommend just taking this front line and just keep drawing it all the way until you get to your back end, or see this diagonal, and use these shading techniques to help you until it's solidified in your mind and you're able to picture what's happening on the back end of that block. Okay, let's try number 2, a simple O, kind of like what we did that first week, but again, I just think it's helpful to have extra practice. Let's do 4 by 4. I think it'd be easier to draw this whole front surface in blue this time. Last time we started with the red L, and this time I think we should start with the blue O. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to go up diagonally 4, down vertically 4 on both sides, and at the base, I'll do a base of 4. Now as I wander around, I'm going to try to create a path that's 1 block thick with 4 blocks in the middle. Now once I've got that blue O established, I can go 1 block deep. And then again, match my corners, play my connect the dots. One thing that's missing though is that window. Now because these were all going diagonally back in space, that's your cue that this corner is also going to be the one where we would see and go back in space. So I'm going to go ahead and put in that little peek through ledge there, and we're done. Number 3, we've got the upside down U, or an N shape. So again, I'm going to start with that blue front face. And the size at this point isn't as important as you just getting comfortable with drawing your designs, getting faster with sketching out some basic shapes, so that as we get down to these more complex ones where we're grouping and changing height layers, it's really easy for you. So now I've got my N, I'm going to go back to the left. And what I love about this worksheet as well is that it's starting to switch. So sometimes we're going to be drawing this way and creating depth, sometimes we'll be heading another direction. So if I was going back to the left, then again I would see here back to the left. I'm not going to draw anything there because my eyes are blocked, so I'm only going to see that piece. Okay. Number 4, we've got this fat H, or you could consider it an I laying down on its side. Either way works. So I'm going to draw this bar of the fat I, or I guess the laying down I. I'm going to make this part thicker. Now if that alone was hard for you, consider that these are on the same line. So as I'm drawing this, I could picture little dots in my mind to know that those connect. These always stay vertical. And then I'm going to do a mirror image. I'm going to flip that. So I'm going to go across, up one, across, up one, and then I have these parallel as well. Okay. This one, we're going to go back to the left for 1 block thick on each corner. I ran off my page a little bit. And then finish off the top and the sides. Oh, anything missing? You bet. This section here, we'll piece all that together. Okay. Number 5. Cool, we got a big C shape. So for this one, or you could think of it like a pathway, I'm gonna lay that C down and draw the top surface first. Now, if you're wondering, well, you're thinking, why would I want to do these letter shapes? All of these can really be transformed into different building shapes and configurations and all kinds of things. And some students have actually wanted to include words on their artwork or names, which can be kind of fun. So once we have our top surface, let's build this one coming down. We've been doing the side surface and then going back to create our depth. But when we have something this complex, or it's a little bit easier to work from another direction. So now I'm going to build down, why not 4? Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if ever you're off, you can again compare on this edge. It should all end at the same level. 1, 2, 3, 4, unless it's changing directions here. And talk yourself through. Look at the top surface and replicate that down below. Okay? I just did that to help students, but we don't need to keep that there unless you wanted to close it off. All right, let's try number 6. See if you can beat me in my explanations. Maybe you can draw it faster than I'm explaining. This, I would start off with the laying down L shape. And I'm gonna start off drawing this quite regularly, and then I'm gonna add this little volume on top. So let's start with the L laying down. So I've got a rectangle facing up, and then one that's laying horizontally flat. Then I'm gonna go back and give it the depth. So let's go back at least 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And again, hopefully you're counting and your recognition of the space is getting quick and easy. That's the L in its simple form. However, this guy's got an extra cube on top. So what I could do is just come right here, add 3 sides to a cube, put on my diamond top and my base. And right now it's see-through, so if you wanted to, you could get rid of those back lines. Just show me the front of the cube. And if you really wanted to make it look unified, you could even get rid of this line so it looks like a solid surface, like it's attached as opposed to separated. All right, number 7. This one's a little different. We're having some fun changing height. So it looks like we have a letter I, and then this is a little shorter, maybe a dash that's touching. So let's start off with a long I. Bring that, what do you think, 4 tall? And then for this, before I close this shape off, I'm gonna add this right now. So let's say I don't want it to start up here at the top level. I'm gonna go down and start this shape over here. Okay, and erase this because I'm probably not gonna see that back edge of that original eye shape anymore. And I'm gonna go down. Now some students are asking right away, how do I know where to end this line? Do I end it at 2 blocks or what do I do? You can always take this baseline and just come up. And where you see these 2 intersect, then you know you can pull this line this way. That's the ground line. Unless, of course, you wanted to change the design and do something that's floating in the air. Let's say it's a cantilevered thing and this keeps going. So you could always change the shapes too. You don't have to have everything sitting on the ground. All right, number 8 reminds me of a T shape, upside down T shape anyway. So let's go ahead and lay down a really wide bar. So I did 3 on this side, 3 on this side. I got very wide, and I did just a solid 2 blocks high here. And then I'm gonna take this front red shape and go back in space. Let's go back 2, 2, 2. For every place we change direction, so if I went from horizontal to vertical, I need to put in my space here. Again, check the front surface to know what's happening in the back, and start to connect the dots. Okay. All right, challenge number 9. We've got the eye shape. I hope this is getting easier for you. Let's do 3. I'm gonna leave this center area open for the center of my eye, just like doing a block letter that's a little bit skewed. So I always like to choose the whole surface that I want to draw first, and then I can come back. I'm going to make this one, why not, 2 blocks thick, 2. If you like to piece things together first before you move on to another section, that's fine too. There's no wrong or right way to accomplish that. So you could put in the base and then go back, and then you could do this middle area. Something's missing though. This little yellow speck right there is really important. Now we're done with the eye. All right, number 10. This is where I like to have some fun and doing some shapes. It's the same actually that we did way up here with this shape, except now we're adding a little top, a little finial or decorative edge on that. So for number 10, let's do our upside down U shape. And then we can draw this square on the top. So start with this blue surface first. And again, please feel free to pause anytime I'm going too fast for you. I'm going to make mine 2 blocks thick. I don't have a lot of space between this and the other. Ta-da, we're done except for this. So if ever you're not sure which way to go, notice the directions of how you've been, which side you've been seeing, and that helps a lot. All right, number 11. This looks like it's thicker on this side than here. So I'm gonna do a 6 by 6 rectangle. I'm sorry, 3 by 2, 6 total. And then on this edge, I'm gonna make it particularly long and thin. And again, this is just developing your sense and your ability to be able to do any types of shapes for any type of skyscrapers or room additions or anything that your mind wants to conjure up. Number 12, this is fun. Looks like a block of 3 long, and then this one has been pushed down. So I think of it in terms of, here's 3 blocks right here, and then another 3 as if it was like a Tetris that got pushed down. Then I think it's helpful to erase that delineation in the middle, and let's make it 3 tall. 1, 2, 3, 3. And then we can finish this off and know that we're just gonna see very little bit of that. All right, 13. Let's see. We have a main cube. We're going back to like week 1. It's super simple for you guys now. A 2 by 2 cube. Now this is important though, because what I find a lot in projects is that students will get really good at building unique shapes, but they won't have them interact in any way. So you want to consider pushing shapes right up against other shapes. So you can see before I even finish drawing this, I'm going to put here where this piece is going to attach. So there's a couple ways I could do it. I could draw this side square first and then go back 1. The other option was again to draw the top surface and then pull that down so that these are touching. Okay. We could do something very similar to this also if you wanted to have the space between. See, like you're doing 2 buildings, they could be separated shapes as well. Let's put it so it doesn't touch. Maybe it's over here. Okay, so we could have them on the same level or street front. Maybe even if you're drawing a cityscape, you're going to end up drawing your streets here going through your buildings. Okay, so different ways to start thinking about where we're headed for our project. Number 14. Looks like somewhat the upside down version of the state of Utah, or something's backwards on it, right? So let's go ahead, and it looks like it is a square base, and it has a little notch or a square on the top. And then we're gonna go back in space quite deep. Let's make it 3 deep. 1, 2, 3. Looks like I got off myself, so I'm gonna use my stair stepping to help me finish that guy. And then I'm just gonna plop a little cube in front, so I can put it either this way, top down. Okay, so these are gonna be important as we start blocking and grouping shapes together. And before you know it, you're gonna be able to take these guys and turn them into curves and pyramids and what have you, along with the massing. All right, 15. Looks nothing more complicated to me than an L shape. And then I have another L this way. So let's start with this L first. And again, I'm not really concerning myself with the exact block counts at this point. I want you more to get comfortable with the process of selecting which surface you want to draw first. So if I did that red L first, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here and put in this little guy here. That looks like I need to shorten that. Okay, so I did my red L and then the yellow surface here, and then I'm going to make this 2 blocks wide. And then for this one, 1 block. Okay. 16, oh, stairs. You're gonna definitely want to do stairs for this project. It's a lot of fun. Let me tuck this under so you can see really clearly. I like to start off with this L shape whenever I create a stair. So we're gonna do a vertical down and a diagonal down. In architecture, we call this the run. That's the part you step on. And the rise is how tall the step is. So we're gonna go a long diagonal down, vertical down, diagonal down, vertical, diagonal, vertical. And that creates our stair step. From each of these transitions, we have to go back however deep. Let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. And if I miscount, which I think I have, as I rush through, I can always go like this, 1, 2, 3, and fix it. And go run, rise, run, rise, run, rise, run, rise. And then I can see if there's any spots where I didn't pull my diagonals deeply enough and correct that. Pretty simple. Okay, that's going to be a fun one you definitely want to play around with for this project. All right, number 17, I love this one. We've got some intersecting blocks. So I would start off, first of all, this is a great one, I love this. I'm going to draw this a little bit larger so it's easy for you to see. I'm going to start with this as it's the top, and rather than finish the base of this block that I can't see, let's come in and start to interject this particular space. So it looks like it's cutting in here and going back to this surface. But then what's happening is it's kind of wrapping around the shape. So let's go ahead and imagine that this part of the rectangle is inside of the other cube. And I can bring that down, and then I can decide how thick this guy's going to be. 1 block tall on each corner, and finish those off. Love that shape. All right, 18, stacked pyramid. This is going to be really important for a lot of students, and there's different ways you can do it. You could start with this stick of butter on the top and then get bigger and bigger as you go down. It's personal preference. I like to start at the base. Somehow that seems more manageable or easy to me. So I'm going to do this shape first, and then I'm going to go back 1 and do my next one. Now this is not a stacked pyramid in the sense of it being, could I say? It's not centered. So you can see that these blocks are pushed to the far back edge but nonetheless, they're still stacked. So I'm gonna go back one and then draw the next shape, 1 block tall. Okay, we could also play around with the concept of inverting this and turning it upside down. I see a lot of students that want to do floating lands, and so they'll take this type of shape. Let's say if I did a 3 by 3, and then go down, and maybe they end up building a world on this top surface, and then they come underneath and they'll do a 2 by 2. And so you can take the same thing in a 1 by 1 block, and you can just turn that whole concept upside down. That's really fun. All right, number 19, let's do another peek through hole. Looks like I'm running out of room on my paper. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna do a lengthened cutout in the top. Looks like I have a C shape, oops, over on this edge. So let's go ahead and put in my C shape as if it's laying down on the ground. And then I can continue. If that was 3 blocks tall, then the back surface is also 3 blocks tall. And then you decide here, it's gonna go down in there, okay? I'm gonna let you try these challenges on your own if you have enough space on your paper. Remember that you can draw the entire surface here and then simply remove it and do a subtractive element. So don't feel like you need to get the design correct from the first drawing. You're welcome just to draw a normal rectangle of sorts, right? And then you could come back later. And even if you've designed your project and you decide that it just looks bulky and you want to lighten it up or change something, you could always then come back later and cut out that shape and go back in space. Okay, and then put things in front of them and have some really fun interactions with what's happening with your building. So things can be sandwiched, one being taller than the others. You could have channels cut in, add little decorative finishes on top. So please challenge yourself, pause the video and try a couple more of these. And then next time I see you, we're gonna get into doing some room interiors. And I'll touch upon how we're gonna start the process of doing internal views as well as external building views. Okay, so I hope you had a great time with that. Here's an extra challenge. If you guys make it to 24, I'll be really impressed, but hope that was fun for you guys today. And if anything was too fast, again, please just pause it, take your time, and I can't wait to see you guys all again. Talk to you soon.